Hi there, and thank you for joining me for this NovaCore training session. In this session, we're going to have an in-depth look at the document management system, or as NovaCore likes to refer to it as the DMS. Okay, so if anywhere you hear DMS brought up, we're talking about the document management system, and this training session is all about the document management system. If you already have the DMS, you're probably pretty familiar with how it works. If you've just purchased or recently been upgraded with the document management system, you're going to find this training session very helpful on some of the features that are inside the DMS. With NovaCore 3, when you want to access the DMS or document management system, obviously you hover over Start here and then you click on DMS. Okay. If you have any of the other frameworks selected, you won't obviously have Start here anymore, but you just hover over there and go to DMS, exactly the same anyway. Just explaining to you what the DMS is. The document management system is essentially a repository for all of your documentation. So you can bring in anything you want, whether you're in the RTO training sector, group training organizations, a CRICOS provider, maybe you're an ISO quality management registered organization. Any of these organizations, even if you have nothing to do with training at all, but just simply want a repository that manages all your documents, version controls, absolutely everything that you need of all your documentation, keeps them secure, and you can allow certain people to access them and you have the full control. The document management system is what you want. Now, folder hierarchies are very, very important inside the document management system. The library level. So when we refer to the library level, it actually means the top level folder. Okay, so that is the very first folder that you create, which we call a library. Okay, so clients, finance, GTO, RTO, RTO specific, risk management, and test library and training library are all of my library level folders, and I can then place folders inside those and build a hierarchy accordingly. Now I'm just going to let you know that if you do try to import documents or bring documents into the document management system, you need a library first. Okay, if you try to do this without any libraries being created, it will not work. It won't let you create a new folder anywhere without first having a library to attach that folder to. Okay, so as you can see here where I've clicked, this is my test library. This is the library that I have made and brought in recently. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to bring in another library just so I can show you exactly how to create a new library inside of NovaCore. You want to click on New Library up here. And then here you want to give your library a name and choose a folder for your library. I like to choose the boxes, so I'm going to go with the box with the blue ribbon, and I'm going to call this Demo Library. Okay, you can also give a description of your library in here if you wish, but I'm just going to click Create, and now in alphabetical order it's popped Demo Library there. So I can now start bringing folders and files straight into the document management system because I now have a library. Okay, now if I right click on my demo library, I'm going to see a few options. The first one we're going to have a look at is the new option. This new option allows me to do one of two things. I can create a new document that becomes part of that library, so is placed directly into that library folder. So if I go to New and then Document, we get the normal new document control pop-up that we have seen in previous training videos, and I can then give my document a name and also choose if I wanted to import an external file or apply a template. Click Create and it'll open up the document. I can make changes to it, save it, and it'll be in that demo library right at the parent level. But if I didn't want to do that, if I wanted to create a folder inside that library, it's actually quite easy. I will do the right click again, go to New, and this time choose Folder. Now here, much like when we created the library, I get to choose a folder icon, and for this one I'm just going to keep with the blue theme and choose a blue binder, and I'm going to call this my folder number 1. Okay, so this is my folder number 1. I can put a description in there as well, and I'm going to click Create. So now you can see I've got a drop down as part of my demo library, folder number 1, and in there I can choose now to place documents in there. Now, the question I get asked a lot is how many folders inside of folders can I have? You can have as many as you like, okay? There's no limit to this folder hierarchy. We allow you to place as many folders inside of folders as you like. If you would like to place another folder at the same level, you simply do that from Demo Library again. Go to New Folder, and we can actually call this one Folder Number 2. You can give it a different color if you want, but I'm not going to. I'm going to go to the blue binder again and click Create. And you can now see that when I do maximize and minimize this demo library, I have 2 folders that are at the same level. If I want folder number 2 to have a folder inside of that, I simply click on the folder number 2, go to New, and then Folder. Now here I can give it a different color because I like to have my color set at the different folder levels. You don't have to do it that way. That's just the way I like to do it. I'm going to go green here, and I'm just going to call this one Folder 2.1 because it's part of folder number 2. And I'm going to click Create. And now you can see there's a drop down that's a part of folder 2. Now, as you can see in here, I can bring anything I want in here. I've got a clients folder. In there I have client A and B, and I can do reports and training that I do for that particular client. You don't have to do any of this, especially if you're not in the RTO sector or the training sector. This is just an example I have. For those who are in the training sector, the training library is a fantastic one. You can actually bring in all your training materials in here. And as you can see, I've got my courses lined out there. The course number 1 has all of my certification levels, Cert 1 right through to Diploma. And then inside of there, I can have my assessment materials, training and assessment strategies, any training materials, and any validation, moderation, and mapping I have. Okay, so it's all well and good. We've set up a nice folder structure. I now want to bring documents into the DMS. Well, we can do it one of 2 ways. Under Tools and Config, we can go to Import Documents. Now, it automatically will choose the DMS for you. We click Next, and now we can choose wherever we would like to, or whatever we would like to bring into the DMS outside of NovaCore. So it just shows our normal Windows folder structure. I can choose a document that I want, and I can choose Open. And then I click Next. And then all I simply do now is have the options of renaming the document, choose the actual folder that I want to place the document in. Now just remember, don't actually click on the word folder. Click just below it to reveal the drop-down menu. And if I want to bring this into my demo library, I just expand that, and I want to bring it into folder 2.1, and that's the one I've chosen. If I want to apply a template, this is where I will do it here. And then I can set approval as well on this one here. I am going to actually rename this one to Test Document 2.1, just so we know. And then now that I've done that, I can click Next. And then Finish down the bottom right here. And you will now see under my demo library, folder number 2, 2.1, I have a number 1 to the right hand side of the folder. That means there is a document in there. It's giving me my new document name, and it's newly imported, and I can go ahead, right click and edit that and make my changes, and it's now part of NovaCore. All the version controlling that you see in the other frameworks, so the ability to pull up revision notes, revision history, all of that is available in the document management system as well. Okay, the second way to import documents is to actually drag NovaCore and make it a little bit smaller and grab your whole folder structure, the whole entire folder structure that you want. So let's say my folder structure here on the desktop, and inside my folder structure you can see that I've actually got another folder and 2 documents, and when I double click on that one, there are 2 more documents inside of there. I can grab that entire folder structure and bring it into my demo library, and I'm going to bring it into folder number 1. I can let it go. Once I let it go, it's going to ask me a couple of questions here. The first one is, do I want to apply a template? No, at the moment I don't. And it's also going to say to me, what file types do I want to bring in now? So do I want to just bring in all the Word documents, Excel, PowerPoint, or Publisher files, or maybe PDF files? The reason we do this is because we understand that you may have a folder that has all different formats in it. So it may have executables, it may have zip files, it may have JPEG images. You don't want to bring all of those in, so we allow you to filter those. So if you choose Word documents, it'll only bring the Word documents in, it'll skip every other format. You can choose all 4 of these and say, I only want to bring in the Microsoft suite of documentation. So any Publisher, PowerPoint, Excel, and Word documents will come in, and it'll ignore everything else. Maybe you want to include PDFs into that. Maybe you want to bring JPEGs and zip files in. You certainly can. So what you have to do is you have to click on any file and it'll bring those in as well. But it's best to filter out those that you want to bring in. So at the moment I just want to bring in the Word documents. I'm going to click OK. It's going to bring me through the Import External Documents wizard that we normally see. I click Next and then Finish. And you're now going to see that underneath my folder number 1, I've now got my folder structure with my 2 documents there and a drop down to another folder there as well. So it's not only brought in the documents that I wanted it to, it's created the entire folder structure for me, which I can then go and alter those folder colors if I wanted to by simply right clicking on the document and going to folder options. And here you can see the name of my folder and what icon I'm using, which I can alter. And once I've changed that, I simply click back and it'll accept those changes. Now, just letting you know a little bit about security in the document management system as well. Security in the DMS is absolutely brilliant. You can actually stop users from seeing certain parts of the document management system if you don't want them to. So for instance, under finance, I've got some documents that I consider to be pretty sensitive. So I only want my financial controllers and maybe me to see those documents. So I right click on there, go to folder options and go to the security tab. Now here I can actually see a list of all my NovaCore users and I can choose which users are allowed to see that and which users are denied access to that folder. Now I can choose to deny certain users access to that so that when next time they log in and try to click on the finance folder in the DMS, it'll tell them that access is denied. Now you can do that to not only library level folders, but folders inside those library levels as well. Okay, so maybe the finance folder has finance 2013. Maybe I have some stuff at the library level which I'm more than happy for them to see, but I don't want them to see the finance 2013 folder. I simply right click on that one, go to folder options to security and do the same thing. Choose the user I want and choose to deny them all the access. Okay, one of the options too is inherited permission. What that means is if I deny them at a top level folder, like a parent level folder, those permissions of denying will carry down to all the children or child folders underneath. So the security in the document management system is very good. Some of the other things you can do is you can actually print screen. So what you can do is print the entire folder structure just to see what it's like, if you like, and see exactly what folder structure you've got there. You can also print just the visible folder structure. So whatever you've got open, that's one of the options as well under the print screen. And you can also print reports on each one of these folders. So if you choose a library level folder, so the demo library, and in there I want to print a report on my folder structure, I simply highlight my folder structure, go to the reports and choose document register, latest documents, include my revision history and notes, and click view, and here's a detailed report of that particular folder and all the documents that are in it, including the document number and name, its status, its revision date, who it was reviewed by and when its next review is, and there's a key at the bottom to let you know what all those symbols mean. So there's a lot of stuff that you can do in the document management system. It does accept Word, PowerPoint, PDF, Excel and Publisher documents by default, but you can also bring in files like zip files and JPEGs and version control those too if you wish. Thank you for joining me for this NovaCore training session on the document management system. We have other videos available at www.youtube.com/NovaCore Systems if you'd like some further training in the NovaCore version 3. Or you can visit our website www.novacore.com.au.